Oh. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam everyone. Today we are starting something new. We are starting with Purusha Suktam. As requested by many of you. So let's get into the class, Saira. Purusha Suktam. Purusha Suktam. Purusha Suktam. The Purusha Suktam is one of the most potent collection of Vedic mantras. And that's the consideration of many rishis, many scholars, and many Vedic pandits. There are many references in many scriptures where Purusha Suktam is given so much importance. There are places where the rishis say that the Purusha Suktam, it's Narayana himself, and so on. You can say, just as Sri Rudram is embodiment of Rudra, Shiva himself, Purusha Suktam is an embodiment of Vishnu himself, Narayana. So that is the level of importance given to Purusha Suktam. There are many places where the guidance is that if one were to study and chant the Rudram and Purusha Suktam, other Vedic texts are not needed. This is what the statement is in many of the scriptures, where the students are asking the teachers what they should study. I have not given all the quotes here, but there are many instances. It's not that, if we study this, we don't need to study anything. As a last resort, at least these should be chanted is the instruction. But to understand these, I think the other texts come to our help. Okay. The scriptures and rishis recommend that we chant these daily, study these daily. Okay. So in importance, Purusha Suktam is of equal importance to Sri Rudra. This, unlike the Sri Rudram, the Purusha Suktam is present in every single Veda, various parts of the Vedas. In all the 4 Vedas, it is contained. Actually, you would say all the 5 Vedas, because the Yajur Veda has Krishna Yajur and Shukla Yajur, both of them have. Okay. But there are some differences in the in the mantras. The mantras themselves have certain differences, but overall they are the same. Okay, except for the minor differences. And so what does this Purusha Sukta deal with? The Purusha Sukta talks about the Purusha, the supreme person, the supreme God. The reality is in the creation, if you want to call that creation, the manifestation of the divinity, because the Brahman is unmanifest. God is unmanifest. And he is also manifest. The creation is nothing but the manifested God. So in the unmanifest God, there is only one. There's no two. But when it's manifests, in this manifested world, creation, there's a duality. There's Purusha and Prakriti. The God is present as Purusha as well as Prakriti in this created world. And that Purusha in the created world is called Purusha, or the one who makes everything, the underlying, the substratum, the foundation from which all the sentience, the consciousness itself arrives. That part of the Lord is called Purusha. The Prakriti is the Shakti, or you can even say Maya. That's the one which seems to be active in this world. So this describes who that original Purusha, whom we cannot easily perceive. The Shakti is perceived in everything in this world. We can see, because Shakti makes us see, easily perceive. Okay, so this entire creation is born from that Purusha. Okay, Purusha is the source of all this creation. He is the seed. So this Purusha Sukta's aim is to teach us that all that we see and experience in this world is nothing but that Purusha, who underlies the entire creation. And it also shows the unity of this entire creation, oneness of this creation. That is why it is considered so high. Because ultimately, that is the truth towards which all sadhana takes us. So the same thing which we saw in Rudram also, Purusha Suktam also does the exact same thing. So that is why these two are given the highest status among all the Vedic mantras. Okay. Now that, so Rudram and Purusha Suktam have been chanted in Prashantanilayam for ever since the Vedic chanting started in Prashantanilayam. Even today, every single day, these mantras are chanted. The other mantras are rotated, but Rudram and Purusha Suktam are chanted daily, morning and evening. So we will go to the next slide. So I would, because even though the Purusha Suktam is present in all the Vedas, for our study purposes, we are picking up the Purusha Suktam, which is present in Krishna Yajurveda. Krishna Yajurveda. Okay. As I had mentioned, there are four in the past. I have mentioned there are four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda. This is the codification by sage Veda Vyasa. Because these are all mantras. There are mantras in the Rig form, there are mantras in the Yajur form, there are mantras in the Sama form. And there are Atharvana mantras which have a combination of all that, but they have a different purpose. What sage Veda Vyasa did was, he tried to categorize them. So it's easy for us to study. So the Krishna Yajurveda, the Yajurveda has two branches, you can say two parts, because they evolved slightly differently in a diverging manner, but from the same place. One is called Shukla Yajurveda, other one is called Krishna Yajurveda. Shukla Yajurveda, the white Yajurveda. Krishna is the dark Yajurveda. I think I have covered this as part of the introduction to Rudram, so I do not want to repeat. So what we are going to pick up is the Purusha Suktam present in the Krishna Yajurveda. Okay. So in the Krishna Yajurveda, the Tritiya Prapataka. Okay. So that is the, so if you take the, I think I put, I hope you can see now. Sorry for that. I don't know, somehow I seem to have missed it in the slide. So I just put it. Okay. So in the Krishna Yajurveda, in each Veda, there are Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. I think these have been covered in the past. So the texts which are called Aranyakas are the texts which those who have gone to the Vanaprastha stage, from Grihastha Brahmacharya is the student stage, the household stage is Grihastha. From the household stage, roughly around 40, between 50 and 60, people take up what's called Vanavasa. They leave, it's a preparation to go into sannyasa. So they're supposed to leave home and live in the forest. So it's called Vanaprastha. So during that time, they have to study texts so that they prepare themselves for sannyasa stage. So that doesn't mean that we don't have to study this till 50, 60. Preparation can earlier, but students have to learn by brahmachari. Aranyaka, that means you start practicing the teachings in these texts, Aranya texts. So until then, we have to study and prepare ourselves to practice. So you can say in the Vanaprastha stage, you start practicing it. Okay. So there are Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. So this Purusha Suktam appears in one of the Aranyaka texts of the Krishna Yajurveda. In Krishna Yajurveda, there are various branches. One of the most prominent branches is called Taittiriya Shaka. Taittiriya Shaka means Taittiriya branch. The Taittiriya branch, Aranyaka, Taittiriya Samhita is also there, Aranyaka is also there. So in the Taittiriya Aranyaka has 10 chapters. Of these 10 chapters, the Tritiya Prapataka, okay, the Tritiya Prapataka. Prapataka means chapter, Tritiya means 3. So third chapter of this Taittiriya Aranyaka, in that Aranyaka, Dwadashonuvakaha. Dwadasha means 12. Dwadasha. Dwa means 2, Dasha means 10. So 2 plus 10 is 12. Dwadasho Anuvakaha. Anuvakaha means chapter. It's a collection of mantras, you can say. Or sub-chapter, the subsection. So Dwadasha, the 12th Anuvaka, the 12th subsection in the third chapter of Taittiriya Aranyaka, which belongs to Krishna Yajurveda, contains the Purusha Sukta. However, as a tradition, the 13th chapter also, 13th Anuvaka also, Trayodasho Anuvaka. Trayodasha means 13, Anuvaka, subsection or sub-chapter. Those mantras are also chanted along with the 12th chapter. So you chant the 12th Anuvaka and you chant the 3rd and 13th Anuvaka. Together they are called Krishna Yajurveda Purusha Sukta. Okay. So that is, so what we are going to cover is what is contained in these 12th and 13th Anuvaka of the 3rd chapter of the Taittiriya Aranyaka, which belongs to the Krishna Yajurveda. Okay, so it's just information as to where it is present. People can say, we need to know. It's always good to know the origin, the source. If anyone is interested, you all can always go back to the source also and study, read. Okay, so this information just pertinent So in other Vedas, it's also information purposes for anyone who is interested. So I have put down some information on where all it is present in the other Vedas. So I will just briefly touch upon them. In the other Vedas, it's present as follows. In Rig Veda, in the Mandala 10, Anuvaka 7, it is the 90th Sukta, 90. Okay, it's almost at the end of Rig Veda, it appears. Okay. In the Shukla Yajurveda, that is the twin of Krishna Yajurveda, in the Yajurveda, it is present in Vajasena Samhita, Adhyaya 32. Okay. So there are different shakas. Vajasena is one branch of Shukla Yajurveda. In that, the 32nd chapter is this. Okay. In the Samaveda, there are multiple branches. Actually, there are 3 branches. In all 3 of them, it is present. It's called Jaimini Shaka, Kauthuma Shaka. It is present in all of them. Okay. I did not want to put so many details because the classification of Samaveda is slightly different. So I did not want to introduce some new topics for discussion, just information only. So it's present in all the shakas in Samaveda. Actually, 3 places. The last one is Atharvana Veda. In Atharvana Veda, there's a Shaunaka Samhita. That's also one of the branches of Atharvana Veda, you can say. In that, you can see. Okay, in the Atharvana Veda, it's present in Shaunaka Samhita, Khanda 19 and Anuvaka 1. Okay, so it's just for information purposes. So you all, anyone who is interested can go and read it, find out. So I will now come to the details of, what the content, the various aspects of this Krishna Yajurveda Purusha Sukta. The Krishna Yajurveda, as I mentioned in the 3rd chapter, there's the 12th Anuvaka, Dwadasho Anuvaka, Tritiya Pataka. It contains 18 Rik mantras. Even though I think last time also I mentioned, even though in the Yajurveda, most of the mantras are in Yajur format, which is prose, there are poetic verses also, which are Rik mantras. Riks are poetry. But so in this, even though it's in Yajurveda, these Rik mantras are present in Purusha Sukta, in Krishna Yajurveda as well. There are 18 Rik mantras. Actually, if you look at the Rig Veda, which is considered the oldest, ancient, the Rik mantras which are present in Purusha Suktam, there are 16. And there are 2 additional mantras, and I think the order is slightly different. But there are 18 Rik mantras in the 12th chapter, 12th subsection, Anuvaka, of the 3rd chapter of. So if you look at Krishna Yajurveda, in the Taittiriya Aranyaka, 3rd chapter, 12th Anuvaka contains 18 Rik mantras. Okay. The 17 of these mantras are in Anushtup Chandas. It's a count, the measure of, this is the most common one which you find in many texts, Anushtup Chandas. And the last mantra is in what's called Trishtup Chandas. So, okay. This is all information purposes only because we are not studying any of these chandas and so on. I think you remember when we did the Rudram, we had always for each mantra who the Rishi was, what the chandas was, who is the Devata we are praying to, all that was mentioned. So it is common for, it is also present here. So that's the reason I'm providing the same information. The Rishi of Purusha Suktam is Narayana. Narayana is the Rishi, name of the Rishi. And the Devata, the deity which is praised or described is Purusha. Okay. The Trayodasha Anuvaka, the 13th Anuvaka, which is also chanted along, contains 6 mantras, 6 Rik mantras. Okay. So in total, we are going to cover about 24 Rik mantras as part of Purusha Suktam study in the next few weeks. So I'm just going to, so I thought, we mentioned about Purusha Suktam. So I thought I will accept some Swami's discourses as, as an introduction. Swami has very nicely spoken about Purusha. So let me go through that. The most satisfying prize is Purushottama Prapti, the attainment of the Lord, the supremest Purusha. The Purusha is he who lives in the Pura, namely the body, the physical body. He who lives in the universe, which is his body, he is the supremest, the Purushottama. A tiny ant creeping over the foot is recognized by your consciousness. That is to say, the Purusha had consciousness filling the entire body. Purushottama had consciousness filling and activating the entire universe, which is his body. The individual tree is the Purusha, the forest is the Purushottama. The Jiva is the Vyashti, the Samashti is God. For the Purusha to become Purushottama, the path is yoga or jnana, won by action and devotion to God. He said that there can be no vision of unity when the Jiva is scattered in 5 directions by the 5 senses which drag him. Really, it does not matter if a person has 5 rupee coins or the same amount in small change. All the 5 senses subserve the same Purusha. It is one family under one master. The senses need not necessarily be inimical. They can be trained to cooperate in the sadhana. Why? Even intellect can become an enemy if it promotes conceit and competitive exhibition. So as you can see, Swami is talking about the Purushottama as the entire universe. Purusha is the individual being, and the individual being has to become the Purusha, Purushottama, attain Purushottama, which is the Virat Purusha, the universal being, universal Purusha. And he's talking about the senses. So this is actually, Krishna is talking about, something, and that's what Swami is discussing here. So he's talking about the senses have to be used in a way so that they serve the master. That's the whole idea of Purusha Suktam. Okay, so let's move on. There's another excerpt. One of the stages of development of beings into divinity is Manavatva, humanness. Being endowed with manas, which is an instrument for bondage to, as well as for liberation from physical shackles. So the mind is capable of, just to pause here, mind it's an instrument for bondage to the physical shackles, or it can be used as an instrument for liberation from the physical shackles. Some people define Prakriti, the objective world, as a mere fancy of the mind. But it is as valid as real as the Lord himself. God has no beginning and no end. Nature of Prakriti too has no beginning and no end. Prakriti is a stream that flows from beyond time into the timeless future. The individual is the Purusha, the person who resides in this Pura, body or castle or fort. There are two Purushas, the Kshara Purusha and the Akshara Purusha. The Kshara Purusha is bound up with the material life and so is subject to change. He is entangled with the 5 koshas, 5 pranas, the 5 indriyas. Okay, 5 koshas are the sheaths, 5 pranas are the vital airs, and 5 indriyas, the senses of perception. The Akshara Purusha is a Sakshi, witness. There's another overall Purusha, the Purushottama, who is beyond the 3 segments of time, 3 universes, and is everywhere at the same moment and all moments. His glory is evident in all things and beings. We should strive to escape from the identification with the body and feel that you are only the resident of the body. The Kshara Purushas. Then by sadhana, you're able to cognize the Akshara Purusha, the witness of even the Kshara Purusha, the Jiva. By practicing the unbroken presence of the Purushottama, supreme person, who is resplendent in all creation, you can ultimately merge in him as the consummation of all the lives you have spent here below. So as you can see, Swami is saying that we, the individual Purushas, individual human beings, are Kshara Purushas, and our journey is towards the Akshara Purusha. To reach that, we have to use our senses and go beyond the 3 segments of time, 3 universes, and 3 gunas. And then we can find that Lord. And the purpose of that, purpose of learning that and practicing that is what is the content of this Purusha Suktam. And the aim of this Purusha Sukta also. Okay, so one more excerpt. I think 2 more excerpts I have. Devotee. Yes, Swami. This is from Sandhya Nivarani. It's one of the questions in one of the chapters, chapter 10. Devotee is asking the question. Yes, Swami. In the Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, even I do action, karma. The universe can't go on if I desist from action. So if one withdraws from it, how can one realize the result? I believe now that the action is the hallmark of men. Okay, it's like Udyogam, Purusha Lakshanam. If we are men, we have to go and work. You know, that's what people say. So it's a mark, a sign of a man is the one who is employed, who is involved in action. Then Swami says, and of women too. So it's not only the action is the hallmark of men. Swami is correcting him, saying it is action, it is the hallmark of women also. Not only Udyogam Purusha Laknam, Udyogam is also Stri Lakshanam also, because both are working in this world. It is the hallmark of nature, Prakriti. All beings, men or women, trees or animals, worms and insects, all have to do action. Everything in the universe is bound by this law. There's no escaping this obligation. Action is the characteristic of nature. Do not refer to it as the hallmark of men. The Supreme Atma, Paramatma, is the only one and only soul, Purusha. Nature, Prakriti is all divine energy, Shakti, feminine. We are all not men, Purushas. Remember. So, Swami is mentioning that. Then there's another excerpt which I've got. Devotee is asking Swami the question. Swami, there is that distinction in nature. How is it correct to say all are feminine? Swami is saying, You may imagine it to be so, guided by your natural reason, but the reality is not that. All this is just secular experience, temporal and temporary. These are not the basic truth. This is simply play acting, mere impersonation. In some plays, men take the role of women, and sometimes women enact the role of men. Are they therefore men? In the drama, nature, Prakriti, all the actors are feminine. Though there may be men roles too. The genuine supreme soul, Purusha, is only one, and that is Shiva, the Atma. The Atma is immanent in everyone. But for this reason alone, all cannot be deemed masculine. The nature theatre is like a girls' school where all the roles of the play are taken up by girls. Divine energy, Shakti, which is feminine, puts on all these parts. But don't take the drama as real, my dear fellow. And this where all these are the excerpts I have got so far. One of the reason I have put some of these excerpts is when Purusha Suktam is said, people may see, oh, it's a describing of man. Woman doesn't have a role. These are modern day arguments. Veda is all very, they are always focused on only men and so on. So here Swami is clearly saying this Purusha, when we say, is the masculine aspect of the world. The masculine aspect is the consciousness. But everything in this creation is Prakriti. We are all who we think we are. It's only creation, the Prakriti. Because we identify with the body, our mind, and so on. What can be visible and experienced. Swami is telling that all of this is actually feminine, the Shakti. So, from this feminine, which is the Jivatma, or the Kshara Purusha, we have reached the Akshara Purusha, which is the Purushottama. So, I just wanted to put this down so that people understand that Purusha Suktam is, there are multiple, Westerners have tried to translate. They say this is creation, this is a story of creation in Hinduism and so on. In reality, when our perception of, or the perception of the rishis as what is creation is completely different from the perception of creation in the other faith systems. Let me put it right. Okay. In the other faith system, they think it is one day creation took place. God took 7 days to create and all that. These are the way people have interpreted their own scriptures in other faith forms or religions. But the Sanatana concept is creation is continuously happening. And dissolution is also happening continuously. Of individual beings. One person may be born, one person may die. That itself is a creation. Each birth is also creation. Each breath is also creation. In this world, there are always cells being born, cells dying. People being born, people dying. So it's a cyclical process and it's a continuous process. These three, birth, sustenance, and dissolution. There's not a single point in time when creation took place. It's eternal. The creation is eternal. It is only cyclical, individually cyclical. That is the philosophy of Sanatana Dharma. So we should not think, in this, there are various, I think I will touch upon them. So I think these are some misconceptions of what is Purusha Sukta. What is the Purusha? What is the purpose of Purusha Sukta contents? So I think I just wanted to address this at this point in time. Because if you will go and read in the Google, you Google and read, it'll say, oh, this is a story of creation, it's about a person, it's a man. All these misconceptions are prevalent everywhere. So I thought that's why I wanted to put this down. as an introduction to what we are going to study. So we all understand what is this Purusha Suktam we are talking about. We will say Purusha means, the husband, the man in the family. No, it is that Atma, Shiva, consciousness, supreme being. That's what we are going to study. Okay. Saira. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sairam. Brother, can you please go into the first excerpt, please? The first one.
This is the first one, Sister.
No, the Swami's thing. So, I think the next page, please. Sorry about that. Okay, I think I missed it. It's okay. But brother, I'm trying to understand why.
What is this? Okay, tell. Ask the question, Sister. I will find.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to know. So, how you will see the Sri Rudram? It's different from Purusha Suttam now, because that also we are studying. So, how you are going to make the prayer here? Or it's look like the same way we are thinking of God. Ways I'm trying to understand what is the difference, real different.
There's no difference. No difference. It's no difference. It is just that the same concept of all this is God is explained slightly differently. That's all, sister.
Oh, okay.
You can say there are two scientists discovering the same thing and describe it slightly different words, but they describe the same content, same truth.
So it's a different. So it's a Dhyana Sloka going to give us different way of prayer, concentrating on seeing the God differently.
You can say so. So it is how you meditate. See, God is one. Then there's no need for description.
Yes.
Okay. But the thing is, as human beings, we have to somehow get to the point. Now, see, it's like, you can have one dish. You can have two recipes. Some ingredients may be different, but ultimately the dish is the same.
So how the Sri Rudra was looked at and how the Purusha was looked at, any kind of difference you see? Or nothing?
Rudra is Purusha, Rudra is Shiva. Swami in his own discourse he has said, the Purusha is Shiva, Atman. So if you ask me, what is the difference between Purusha, Atma, Shiva?
Nothing.
It's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same thing. Whether you call him Shiva, you call him Vishnu, you call him Purusha, it's exactly the same.
So how we are going to meditate is going to be the difference with the Purusha Suttam and Sri Rudra.
We have to meditate on the Purusha. Okay, it is meditation on Purusha is the meditation on Shiva, meditation on Vishnu. See, the thing is, we should understand. Many people say, I only worship Shiva. No harm in that. I only worship Vishnu. That's no harm in that. But the problem is, if we think the Shiva I worship is different from Vishnu, then the problem comes. Then we have not really understood Shiva.
Oh.
We have not understood Vishnu.
The duality.
See, Vishnu. Then we are in duality. That the tattvam, the principle behind is the same. Swami gives an example. You take sugar and you make an elephant out of that sugar. You make a flower out of that sugar. It'll look candies if you go and buy. And people say, no, I am going to eat only the elephant. I am going to eat and the kids can fight. But ultimately, what are they putting? If they put it in their mouth and taste, is the same sugar, same candy. Okay. As long as we are fighting about this or that, then we have not really tasted the sugar.
Okay.
We are only looking at the sugar candy.
So the different shape, but different form, but we are praying to one.
Exactly.
But the meditation, okay, so
You
is
can
this
you can you can still continue to meditate on the form which you have, but never think that form is different from some other form. I like this form, I like to eat it this way, that's good. But we cannot fight with another form and say that form is different from this form is better than that form. All that happens only when you're looking at it superficially, externally.
okay?
If you go within that, you will find and experience the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Sairam, sister.
Silence.
Yes, Brother Vimalasan.
Sairam. No, I just want to, I had two questions, but for these excerpts, especially except the Sathya Nivarani or the previous ones, those excerpts, Swami said these discourses about Purusha Suktam, or just because it's relevant, you took it. You understand?
Yeah, and brother, the concept of Purusha does not change. So I have picked up to explain what the Purusha is.
Oh, okay.
So Swami has talked about things in Purusha Suktam. I will use those later.
Oh, okay.
But just to explain the term Purusha,
Okay.
I have used this.
Okay.
Because
I just want to know whether it's taken from when Swami discourse from Purusha Suktam or just in general. Okay.
See, the reality is, if Swami has spoken about Purusha, that is Purusha Suktam.
Right. That's a different.
Not necessarily specific text called Purusha Suktam.
Right.
Purusha Suktam is, we are speaking about Purusha. Su Uktam. Su means divine, auspicious. Ukta means to say.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Suktam means Su Uktam. Means talking about Purusha is Purusha Sukta.
Oh, okay.
So as long as Swami uses the word Purusha, it's Purusha Sukta.
Okay. That I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
From that angle only, I put it here. Okay. If Swami has used the word Purusha anywhere, in my view, it is Purusha Sukta.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. That's we agree with that. But just the other question is just a little bit philosophy. No. It's in the Purusha Suktam or whatever Swami has been explained. That only God is the Purusha and all other the feminine, and that concept I understand. But when you look at in philosophically, God has no gender, isn't it? So how do you that?
See, Purusha is not gender based.
Pardon?
The reality is Purusha himself is no gender.
Oh, okay. So
beyond gender. But the thing is, the action of that Purusha in this created world has a certain element which is masculine.
Okay, so when we come to the creation, then that comes.
Exactly. Naturally it comes. So there are two forces at play in this world.
Right. Okay.
You see, even if you take an atom, there is a proton, neutron, and then there is electron.
Okay.
So, but it is one atom.
Right. Okay.
But within that atom, there's an electron which is continuously moving.
Right.
That is Shakti. That is Prakriti.
Okay.
But that is present along with the proton and neutron, which is the nucleus, which doesn't move.
Okay.
So
the concept of Purusha, even that comes when we talk about manifestation only. Beyond that, even that is not.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's
okay.
Now
I understand.
It's only a concept.
Sorry.
There's only a concept. One is static, the other one is dynamic.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Which both are present in this world.
Right. Right.
So you can say the Purusha is the static one. The Shakti, Prakriti is the dynamic one.
Right. Okay.
There's move. One does not move. One moves.
Right.
Okay. One is Achara. The other one is Chara. So this is the way the world. But both put together is Purusha actually.
Mhm. Okay.
The Prakriti is subsumed by Purusha, or the
Right.
Prakriti subsumes Purusha, whichever way you want to look
Okay.
at. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
But the gender is gender, sex, all that, is a manifestation of some of these essences in a slightly dynamic way. I would say they mix. That's why each of us have a feminine side to it as well as masculine side. But one may be predominant in each individual. But
Right.
God
No, no, right. No, all that I understand. But my question was, no, when it comes to creation or manifestation, that's what Purusha Suktam, that this Purusha and I mean the Purusha Prakriti or all those concepts I understand, but in the ultimate absolute state, even those terms are they even relevant? That's what
they are not relevant.
Oh, okay, okay. Then
One is Swabhava, one is Swarupa.
right, right. Okay.
Okay. One is Swabhava, one is Swarupa.
Okay.
Can you separate them? You cannot. Like if you take the flower, the smell and the color cannot be split from the
Right.
flower.
Okay. Okay.
The flower doesn't exist when there is that smell is not there.
Right. Right.
But just for us to understand that, we understand the smell separate from the flower.
Okay. Okay. I got it now. Thank you.
So intertwined they are. Okay,
Right.
Saira.
Right. Thanks. Okay.
Saira. Auntie Saku.
So Sairam, in Bhagavad Gita we learned Krishna is saying for all the Shara Purushas, we have to think oneness. All creations are one. The same way, Akshara Purusha, we have to think as one energy which you can take as Shiva, you can take any names, but it is one big energy form that created the whole universe. Is that the meaning that I had to learn? One is Akshara, one is Shara. Shara Purushas are moving and they are related to material life. So that is us, the being, all creations. We have to look as one. Oneness, Krishna says we have to look at oneness. But here, the Shara Purusha, we have so many forms, so many names. We had to forget about all and think as one energy form which created this universe, manifested this universe. Is that the meaning?
Yes, we should be able to taste and experience that oneness behind it all.
Beg your pardon?
We should experience and understand, perceive that oneness of which all this multiplicity is part of.
Yeah.
We should experience the sugar which is in different candy shapes.
Okay. There should be no difference.
Yes,
No.
we are not experiencing the shape and form. We experience sweet underneath.
Oh, underneath. Okay. Okay, thank you.
So once we are able to, then in this world, everything is joy.
Yeah, that is the highest spiritual ladder which we have to go. Thank you.
Sairam.
Sairam.
So with those questions for an introduction, but I thought it's important that we have the right state of mind to even approach a subject. So what that's why I introduced Purusha. Now let's get into the mantras proper and see what they have to offer for us. Okay. So just briefly, when you chant the Purusha Suktam, there are swaras. Then there are certain unique aspects of chanting which I have discussed, like gum, g, all that comes in Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda chanting. I have removed those sounds here, and the swaras are also not part of what we are going to discuss. I've just taken the padam, the word itself, without the swaras or the unique aspects of chanting. That's what we are going to read. So if you find there is something different, it's because of that. If anyone has a question, you can mention and then we can discuss that. So I just want to make that statement as an introduction, and now we will launch into the mantras. So before the Purusha Suktam is chanted, there is a Shanti mantra which gets chanted. As you all know, for every Vedic chant, there will be a chant starting with, we are starting with, which just puts us into a conducive state. Okay, that's called the Shanti mantra, which is usually chanted at the beginning as well as at the end. The one which is chanted at the beginning sort of prepares us so that we can absorb the contents, like an appetizer, you can say. And then at the end also it is chanted, that's a dessert. Okay, so that will calm and everything, puts everything into place. Okay, so Shanti mantras are usually chanted at the beginning and the end. So we are starting with the Shanti mantra, which is chanted in Sri Rudra. Okay, so we'll start. Om Tacham Yo Ravrini Mahe Gatum Yajnaya Gatum Yajna Pataye Daivi Swastirastu Naha Swastir Manushebhyah Urdhvam Jigatu Bheshajam Shanno Astu Dvipade Sham Chatushpade. Om Tacham Yo Ravrini Mahe Gatum Yajnaya Gatum Yajna Pataye Daivi Swastirastu Naha Swastir Manushebhyah Urdhvam Jigatu Beshajam Sham No Astu Dvipade Sham Chatushpade. Om Tacham Yo Ravrini Mahe Gatum Yajnaya Gatum Yajna Pataye Daivi Swastirastu Naha Swastir Manushebhyah Urdhvam Jigatu Bheshajam Shanno Astu Dvipade Sham Chatushpade. Just to point out some pronunciation aspects. It is cha. It's the second letter in the cha varga, so it has to be aspirated. That cha. Then I think some people may ask, because generally when it's chanted, they say tachai. Tachai Yo Ravrini Mahe. Because what happens is when you chant that Anuswara takes on, Anuswara always changes depending on what follows it. So it will be Ya is following, so that become E. Sort of Ya sound gets included. Okay. Chai it becomes, okay. Yoravridimahe, Gatum Yajnaya. Even here, the no, Gatum Yajnaya, people will chant. Gatum Yajnapataye. Okay, again here, Yajna. Something we tend to say Yajna, Yajna. Gatum Yajnaya. Gatum Yajnapataye. This is Uj and Nya. Okay, Uj and Nya, if you can see in the transliteration. Daivi Swastirasana, Swastirman Shebhya. She is again cerebral sha. Ub is the fourth letter in the per varga, so it has to be aspirate. Just pay attention to that. Urdhvam. This dha is the fourth letter in the third varga, so it has to be aspirated. Urdhvam. Jigatu. Bhe. That's also fourth letter in the per varga, so it has to be aspirated. Then the sha is a cerebral sha, so sha, the tongue should be pointing upwards. And sha. Shan no astu dvipati. Some chatush. Again, cerebral sha. Chatush pade. Okay. In terms of pronunciation, just pay attention to that. Now I have split out all the sun. Yes, Brother Vimalesa.
No, quickly. No, the anuswara, right? that change, those things in Triambakam also one. I mean, those things comes right. If we cannot pronunciate that correctly, is it okay to say just Tacham Yora? Is that okay?
It is okay. It's okay because the reality is, see, this sandhi is actually bit. It should be organically done. It's not fixed.
Right.
The anuswara is actually, it organically merges into the next letter. That's all.
Okay.
But
no, but my question is,
see, there are people.
No, when we instead of saying that, no, I think many of us say Tachayora Vrinimi Mahe. Is it better than saying that way? We should say the proper way, as you said, as in nasal anuswara thing, or if we cannot say that, saying Tacham Yora better than Tachayora. That's my question. It comes other things, and in Triambakam also, So what do you think that which?
See, let me, because you have asked this question, I will discuss. See, the sandhi is supposed to flow, one word flowing into the other. That is ultimately.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, if you say tachai, tacha, I, yo. Okay, if you take that, then people may, the cha itself, people may pronounce it as chai. Tachai. That is not right also, Tachai.
Right.
So, it has to organically flow. We don't need to be so caught up in that, is my personal view.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, for example, if I'm chanting Tacham Yoravrani Mehe, that's okay. In that phase, the and yo, there's a little bit of space. It doesn't need to flow. It doesn't need to move. But we are chanting for Tacham Yo. That time, Tacham is a bit more flowy. It flows better. So Visarga and Anuswara always change due to Sandhi.
Right.
And as long as it organically flows from one word to the other, that's good enough. Because there's a flexibility. That changing into V, there is a flexibility. These two, Visarga and Anuswara, are flexible. Okay. When they're flexible, we should not fix them. It's my personal view. Okay. Because that is why the words are written separately, but when you chant, you flow from one to the other. So there are two schools of thought. Some people say you have to chant T. Some people say is also okay.
Okay.
So it depends on what appeals to you. There's no strict hard and fast rule in my understanding. It's my own personal understanding. You should not take it as. I feel it has to organically flow. We don't need to force it.
Okay.
Okay. It's the same discussion comes. For example, people say Shanti, Shanti. Some people say no. You have to say Shanti, Shanti. No, that's incorrect. That her becomes ish only when you chant it close together.
Those things much easier, but these
Exactly, I understand. But
right.
you don't need to be. You don't need to be. I think this is my personal opinion. We don't need to be worried if we say chacham or tachai.
Okay.
Both will have the same effect.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Sairam. That is my belief. Okay, I should say it's my belief. And let's go. This is a raging debate for a long time, ever since. Yes, Sister Maha.
Sorry. This is, you are saying that we can chant tacham or tachai. Is that tachai or tachai? Chaing. There are three things I am hearing now.
Cha, tacham.
Yeah.
That only should becomes nasal. The cha should remain the cha.
It's not chai, it's cha. Chaing.
Chai.
Yeah. It's not chais.
Yes, that's why things can get a bit blurred.
Yeah, chai. Yeah, but in Puttapati, there is a tachai or tachai. Tachai.
See, both are, CHAI. That's the way you write in English.
Yeah, CHAI. Okay.
Okay.
CHAI. Yeah. CHAI and N at the end.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's why, but both are correct. So, when that change happens, it's okay. You don't have to be so worried about it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. So I'm going to split each of the words also further into sandhis. Om, tacham actually is made of two words. One is tat and the other one is sham. That it and sham, tat and sham, when they join together, it becomes tachai. So both are changing, as you can see. The it becomes ich and sh becomes cha. Okay, that is also sandhi. If I'm chanting very slowly, I can say Om Tat Sham Yo. That also can be chanted. Okay, there's nothing wrong because that is the original word. But when you chant it together, it becomes Tat Chai Yo Ravranimege. So those are sandhis. Certain sandhis are much more, much different. So people say Tat Cham. Okay, Tat Sham Yoho Avrini Mahe. So the visarga becomes ir. That's how you get Yo Ravrini Mahe here. Okay. Gatum Yajnaya, Gatum Yajnapataye, Daivi Swastihi Astu. Swastihi Astu becomes Swastirastu. The visarga becomes Ra. Swastirastu. Naha. Swasti Manushebhyaha. Again the visarga becomes Ir. Swastir Manushebhyaha. Urdhvam Jigatu Bheshajam. Shan. This Naha becomes no because of Sandhi. Okay, Sanno. San Sham Naha Astu Dvipade Sham Chatushpade. I could have put an avagraha here, which I have not done. No, as soon as you say Sannostu, that's the right way to say, but okay, I'll just leave it. We will look at the meanings. Om. I think we have discussed about Om before. It's the Pranava, It's a Shabda Brahman himself. Om is himself is Brahman. Okay, Om. The next word is Tat, that. This is used in Veda quite a bit. Godhead is called Tat, Tat, that. It's not even called He. Tat Tvam Asi, that you are. As you all will remember from the Mahavakya. So God is referred to as Tat also. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says God has three names. One is Om, Tat, and Sat. So Tat is nothing but God. We have not given any gender. We have not given any even form. We just call it that principle. Okay, that principle is Tat. Supreme being, the unmanifest Godhead. That's what we refer, that is beyond. That is always referred to as Tat. Sham, we have looked at Sham also in the past. I have said Sham is Shantam, Sukham, and Shubham. That is peace, happiness, auspiciousness, all that is contained in that one syllable called Sham. Okay, it's a bija mantra itself. Okay. Yoho. This Yoho comes from the original Pratipadika, or the original raw word, raw noun, which is Yos, which actually means health. Wealth and well-being also, but I have taken the word health because most of the Bhashya commentators have treated it as related to health. Is it physical health or is it mental health or spiritual health? You all can decide. Okay. So that healthy state of being is Yo. Avrini Mahe. Avrini Mahe. Avrita means to cover ourselves or safeguard ourselves. Both kinds of meanings are Avrita. Okay. Imahe means we wish to clothe ourselves with Om Tat Sat. So we are covering ourselves. We are filling ourselves. Okay. With Om, Tat, Sham, and Yo. With all these, which is nothing but God, we're filling ourselves. We're engulfing ourselves with all this. So it's Mahe is a plural word. Okay, so we wish to be engulfed. We engulfing, that kind of meaning comes. It's a very rare usage of this word. I think the only place where it seems to be appearing is in Purusha, in this mantra. So Avrini Mahe. So we are saying that we are engulfing ourselves with Om, Tat, Sham, and Yo. Gatum. Gatum has other meanings also, like prayer, singing, song. But I have used only Gatum here, a journey. Ga is to go also. Okay. The going. Okay, Gatum. Gatum means going. Yajnaya. To Yajna. So we are saying all that we do, wherever we go, whatever we do, whatever we are pursuing, all that is offered to Yajnaya, for sacrifice. Gatum Yajnapati. I have not repeated the word Gatum, but if you look at the mantra, it's Gatum Yajnapataye. So this going is offered to Yajnapati, the Lord of the Yajna. Okay, the Lord of the Yajna. Pati is Yajna. Yajnapati. To that Yajnapati, this going is. So whatever we make efforts to in this world, wherever we are going, that is also offered to the Lord of the Yajna. Because in this world, everything is Yajna. All actions, when it's offered to God, becomes yajna. So we have to, when all the actions which we perform are offered to God, that those actions become yajna. And they become yajna because we are offering that to the Lord. Okay. Yajna pataye. Daivi. Daivi has multiple meanings, so I have given all the meanings. Daivi means divinity. Daivi means divinity. Daivi also is prayer. Okay. Anything which we towards God is also Daivi. That which relates to Deva is Daivi. One of the usages is that it's a medicinal practice. Okay, the treatment, that's also Daivi. Fate is also called Daivi. That means what has been granted by God, that is fate. That is also the destiny. That's also Daivi. Okay, so you can say there's a divinity in us. We have continuously, because of that, we are praying. That is a medicine which treats our bhavaroga, all the ailments, and that's our destiny also. All that, Daivi swasti astu naha. Swasti means let there be presence of auspiciousness. The presence of auspiciousness. Asti means to be present. Su asti means auspicious. So swastihi means the presence of auspiciousness. Is swastihi. Astu, maybe so, let it be so. Naha, to us. So what we are saying, so the divinity, okay, let it be present as auspicious for us. Okay. So the reality is in all of us, there is some divinity. So we are affirming that let it be beneficially present for us. And that determines, that itself is a prayer, that itself will become our fate, all that. Okay, Daivi swasti rastu naha. The next mantra is swastihi manushebhyah. So swastihi I have not given because I have already given the meaning. I will not repeat it. Manushebhyah. Okay. Manushebhyah is a plural word. Okay. Which means to all the human conditions is the meaning I have given. See, Manushi means human being. Manushi means the human quality of Manusha is Manushi. Okay. Manushebhyah means that all those human qualities, human conditions. Okay. Let them be swasti. Let them be present auspiciously. Okay. Okay. That's the meaning. So I have also used the word human values. Because that which, so we have already said the divinity should be present in the previous one. Now we are saying the humanness also should be present. The human values also should be swasti, should be auspiciously present. Okay. Swastir manushebhyah. Swami's entire world is about human values, which is manushebhyah. The humanness in us should be beneficially present. Swastir manushebhyah. Urdhvam. Urdhva means upwards. Going up is urdhva. Urdhvam jigatu means may it go, may it progress. Again, similar to the word gatu. Jigatu means let it grow, let it progress. Okay. Bheshajam, herb, plant. Generally, Bheshajam is which becomes medicine, which produces medicinal quality, which treats, cures. Okay. So what is that which has to grow? Means you can say that which removes all the ailments, that has to grow. So, but in a practical sense, you can say all the plants should grow, all the medicinal plants should grow. Okay. Urdhvam jigatu bheshajam. Because the medicinal plant is present in us, which can cure all diseases, including the disease of birth and death, bhavaroga. That has to grow up. Okay, bheshajam. You can see the kundalini rising also, you can say, many people say the energy has to rise up to the level of Sahasrara. So all these meanings can come from this. The Shiva is called Urdhva Rethas. Means one who is Rethas is Urdhva. It's always upwardly, So that exaltation of everything. Urdhvam Jigatu Bheshajam. Shanno Astu Dvipade Sam Chatushpade. That's the last two. Sham means, again, I've repeated just because it's in the previous one. Sham means peace, happiness, auspiciousness. Naha, to us. I think I should duplication. Astu. So let all, Shanno Astu, let all to us, auspiciousness. Dvipade. Dvipade means two-footed ones. So we are all actually two-footed ones. We walk on 2 feet. So let there be auspiciousness for all those who walk on 2 feet. Sham Chatushpade. Chatushpade means all those who walk on 4 feet. Chatu means 4, Pad means feet, Chatushpade. So we are asking all those who walk on 4 feet also, let them also be Sham. They be auspicious. So all the other beings, Chatushpade covers all human, all animate objects which move. Let there be peace and prosperity. Okay, Sham, happiness. Samasta loka sukhina bhavantu. That kind of a. So once everything is conducive, only we can pray to God. Ultimately, that's what it is. When all this is a present, we are preparing ourselves so that we can worship the Lord. Okay, that's how this Shanti Mantra prepares us to worship or to contemplate and think about this Purusha. Okay. We'll start with the mantra. Now we are going into Purusha Suktam, the first Rik mantra. It's already 10:25. I will just read it. Maybe I don't know how much I can cover. At least we'll just read it for today, and I'll just read the excerpt. We can start from this next week also. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva Atya Tishtad Dashangulam Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva Atyatisht Dashangulam Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva Atyatishtad Dashangulam. Just some aspects of pronunciation. Sahasra, Sir, Sha. Sha is again cerebral Sha. Purusha, cerebral Sha. Sahasraksha, cerebral Sha. Sahasrapat. So Bhumim. The Bhu is 4th letter in the Pa Varga, so it has to be aspirated. Vishvato Vritva Atyatishtad. This Ush is cerebral Sha. The Tha is 2nd letter in the Ta Varga, so it has to be aspirated with the Shangulam. Okay, so in terms of pronunciation, that's what it is. I'll just split it. Sahasra is Shirsha, Purusha. No changes. Just I split the word. Sahasra Akshaha becomes Sahasrakshaha because of Sahasra and A becomes Sra. Sahasrapad, no change. Sabhum Vishwataha Vritva. The Vishwataha, the Visarga becomes O, Vishwato. Atya Tishtan Dasha. This in and the becomes Idda. Tishtan Dasha. Sha and A becomes Sha, the Shangulam. So those are the split of Sandhi. We will not have too much time to go through the meanings. It's very profound. But I will just, for today's sake, I will just go through the meaning quickly. We'll repeat it next week also. Sahasra is 1,000. In general, common usage, Sahasra means 1,000. But I think I've already covered this when I was doing Rudram. This word Shata, Sahasra, Sarva, all of them means infinite, unlimited is the meaning. Okay, Sahasra means infinite. Sirsha means heads. Okay, Shirsha means head, Shirsha heads. Purushaha, we have already looked at. I put the word persona because that's something which Swami has also used. Maybe I will get next time. Sahasra again, Akshara means eyes. One with 1,000 infinite eyes is Sahasrakshara. Sahasrapat, one with 1,000 feet, so infinite feet. Saha, he, Bhumim. Bhumim is actually earth or universe, I would say. Earth. Okay, Rtva, pervading, Atya, it going constantly or running. Tishtan, Atya Tishta means is continuously running. Okay, Atya Tishta. Dasha is 10. Angulam is thumb digit or inch. I think I will stop here. It's 10:30. I didn't have much. I think there were enough questions. So I don't know if anyone has any questions on this, which can't wait till next week, I will answer. Otherwise, I will cover these next week also. Yes, Brother Vimalesa.
No, I agree. Just no. Swasti, you can split as Su Astu, right? Is that?
Yes, Su Asti, brother.
Su Asti. So Su means divine, auspicious, all that. Asti means
to be, the being. Just
okay.
This being itself is Asti.
Okay. Astu is maybe.
Astu. Yes. Astu
So is both somewhat similar meaning.
Yes. They all come from the root word sta. To exist, to be, that kind of thing, and it evolves into different shades of meaning. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Harihi Om Tachayyoravrimahe Gatum Yajnaya Gatum Yajnapataye Daivi Swastirastunaha Swastirmanushebyah Urdhvam Jigatu Bheshajam Shanno Astu Dvipade Sham Chatushpade Om Shanti 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 Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva atyatishtaddashangulam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.